I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my.
Forever is a Netflix drama television series that has been created by Mora Brock Akil, that has also been adapted by the novel that was made by Judy Blum of the novel of the same exact name. I don't even know they had a book. I enjoyed this series so much I might actually buy it. Reunited as teens, two childhood friends fall deeply in love, experiencing the joy and heartache of a first romance that might lead them to a very devastating future that they may have to buckle up for. I thought this mini-series was very good. Very, very good drama and a very good sit back to just all the other films and shows I've been watching recently. I had my wife watch this with me, and I think this is a series that couples should watch. I feel like if you watch this by yourself, people may feel a little unattached because you don't have other people that you may be in a relationship with that can relate to certain activity or just relate to certain things when it comes to you being pulled into disconnectivity as well. I thought this series was great. And then Regina King ended up playing a part of this as well. I thought that this was actually that was enough for me to be pulled in. I was like, oh, Regina King, okay, all right. And I didn't regret it. This was a series that I watched start to finish. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. And above all, I heard that they got a season 2 deal that is currently in the processing of being developed. So be tuned in for my other review for that whenever that releases. The show takes place pretty fast, but at the same time in a mellow tone, thus being into the eyes of the character that is Justin Edwards that's played by Michael Cooper Jr. I don't know this guy. I've never heard of him. But at the same time, there's a couple of characters on this series that I've never heard of. So if y'all know these characters that I'm going to be mentioning, please put them in the link in the description box, because I really want to see more of their activity, because Michael Cooper Jr., his acting was great. His acting really pulled me in, and he is this kid that is the main character of the love interest of this series that we are going to have to relate to, and above all, going to have to see how things can play off with his activity. He is a character that is stuck into the collision course of following his dream and following the path of his family's legacy. And I like that, because when you have an urban family that struggles to get everything in order and just knows how today's society is when it comes to just us achieving things without people buying our creativity, there's a lot of weight on Justin Edwards' character. And you feel that. You feel that as the series goes on and it continues. And by this happening, you feel a lot of disconnect with him when it comes to him being around his friends or just certain other people around him. You know that he's different. You know that he's a little bit of an oddball, and above all, you know that he is having a hard time connecting to other people. And that's because his connectivity is something that a lot of people may not relate to, that is music. And music is his main passion, and music is his main focus, but he is on and off with it because what his family is pushing him to do is basketball. And he is very good at it. So by him being into basketball, his passion is into music. So he is stuck into a bad emotional simulator of just doing what he wants and doing what is asked for him, so he can just let that legacy continue. Because let's just face it here, when it comes to you following your path and following your dream, what's the biggest thing that you're afraid of? Wasted potential, being pulled in for nothing. And by him being at that age where school is out and he is focusing on trying to go to college, he is literally invited to go to this New Year's this New Year's party, just so he can unwind and just think about his future, and above all, find a date. And that date is Keisha Clark, that is played by Lovie Simone, another character I don't even know. But she also did pretty good. Now, when she meets Justin Edwards, she meets him just acting a little odd and just going around and just trying to mellow down and blend into the crowd. But she doesn't just come across him when it comes to just falling in love and just things happening all at once. Apparently, they had a history with each other as infants. They was in preschool or kindergarten or something like that in third or fourth grade. I don't know, but it was very young. And she recognized him and she said, "Hey, look, you don't know who I am, do you? It's been so long, but hey, you know me from this school. We was very young and we had a lot of activities with each other." And at that point, Justin was like, "Oh, okay." So he got connected because he knew that they both shared that same type of awkward activity. They even talked about anime and stuff too. And that really pulled me in to the point where I was like, "Hey, like, I can relate to this." And then my wife was laughing too, even though she related to me when it comes to her knowing my novels that I make. So when all this happens, this is when love begins to be triggered, when they go into this whole accepting scenario where Justin makes a move and all of a sudden things just start happening all at once. Now, I will say that that's a little bit onto the cliche side, but it didn't really like take me away because it's not like these characters fell in love and they stayed in love. No, I was curious to see how things were gonna play out after the first episode, to see how well they know each other and how much we are going to relate to these characters. Like Justin Edwards, when Keisha dates Justin, she realizes how kind he is. But at the same time, he comes with a lot of caution measures when it comes to him being interfered. Well, people interfering with his daily activities. So he worries about if I'm gonna love this woman, is it gonna be worth me putting all my studies aside and putting everything at risk so I can see this girl and see how things is going? And this is what comes to his family to put him in check. Like Karen Pittman that played Dawn, Justin's mother, no one could have done what the fuck she did. She was a very empowering woman. Every time I saw her, I got glued to the screen because every time Justin would get in trouble by trying to see this girl, and there was even times he did outrageous shit. He's young. He just got out of high school, so he's gonna do things out of spite just so he can let his family know, hey, listen, I'm a young adult now. You've been telling me to do all this stuff, so that's because I'm not doing it right. Maybe I wasn't raised correctly. Dawn puts that nigga in this place a lot. And that was even sometimes I was like, damn, like she really nails it out of the park. And when they have like these lectures and when she really puts him down because he is literally belittling his whole entire like vision of just him trying to be a good kid and just try to focus on things, they notice that it's because of a female. So this is when Don's character begins to like put him into a lot of a backbone scenario, saying, hey, look, if you're going to do this, you need to do this correctly and you need to earn our trust so you can do it right. I love her. Very powerful performance. And there was even times where when she talks to him, it felt like I wasn't even watching a show. It felt like I was watching a documentary, the way how they was talking and discussing things with each other. I'm African American, I'm black. And I think the most important thing is have a black conversation or a black argument that black people can relate to. And there was a lot of black conversations that these families can relate to that makes you feel like, damn, this is some shit that, yeah, my family went through the same shit with me. And if you're not black and if you're watching this, I apologize of the things that they say outside the culturistic manners of other races. But let's just be fair here. That's realistic conversations. When there's no blacks around, people are going to say certain things that blacks may not feel comfortable with. If there's no whites around, there might be some things that people may say that whites may not be comfortable with. That's why I like this show, because it feels like it's off script. It feels very, very tacked in to the point where, again, it feels like you're just witnessing people having a conversation that you're not allowed to witness. And it's not just the mother that got me pulled in. I have to give a lot of praise to Wood Harris. I haven't seen Wood Harris. Where the hell you been at, Wood? He plays Eric, Justin's father. And he is literally the pillow comforter of him. Now, he gives him a lot of backbone talk too, but at the same time, it's not as powerful as a mother. In fact, he even tells Justin, listen, if it wasn't for your mother, we wouldn't even be in this situation. Your mother has did a lot for us to be to where we at. But what I like about the father character is that he actually gives Justin a lot of man-to-man talk of just how to solid his whole mental and his whole spirit, especially when he tells his father, look, I just wish things was more easier. And Eric tells him, no, you don't. Men have to go through hell just so they can see how they are through the other side of the fire. And that was very, very powerful when he said that shit. Because I thought about myself too. It's like, man, if I didn't go through all these things, I probably wouldn't even have been a novel publisher. I probably wouldn't have been a YouTuber either, and I probably wouldn't have gotten married. All the struggles is what made me who I am today. And before I knew it, everybody that I looked up to, I became a mentor. And I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but this is the first time I've actually mentioned this, and I feel like I deserve to say it at least once. But that's Justin's family. To put him in check, that's Justin's side of how the whole series is going to pull you in by looking at the side of the coin of how things is when it comes to him trying to confess how things is between him and Keisha. Now Keisha's family, she only has a mother, a single mother, and let's just say it's the yin and yang. Keisha is a gymnast. She loves to be athletic. In fact, that's like her main craft. But at the same time, she is going through a whole bad scenario, just having a financial crisis by living with her mom in an apartment. Her mom is really working and just getting ends meet just so things can be in the operated manner, and just hoping and just praying hard enough for, just for a blessing to happen. And that's where the stress comes in with Keisha, because Keisha, by her being young, she is literally coming into the aspects of just like real life activity, meeting the wrong guy, getting impregnated by the wrong guy, and above all, letting her life being ruined. And Keisha's mom literally give her those lectures too by saying, listen, don't get pregnant. Please don't make it harder for me. I'm working 2 jobs just to make sure that you get your shit together. And the mother that is played by Zosha Rogmar, man, she did a damn good job, man. Whenever she come home to work and you see like the downtime between her and Keisha, and when they just like talk and just have like these relations of communication, you really feel as if, fuck, she needs a break. And I don't know if it's just something that I can relate to with my family, but I feel like when a character acts and they say certain things, you felt it in her voice, like damn, like she worked her ass off, just the way how she was talking to Keisha. But at the same time, it was a pressure and the weight that really set in when it comes to her misbehaving, or just certain things that were going in schools that would cause that lecture to activate. Like there'll be times with Zosha that play as Shelly, Keisha's mom, will pull her to the side and give her even harder lectures than what Don would do to Justin's mom, and literally just curse her out, saying, girl, you stupid, I did all this shit. But that's because you feel the struggle. You feel the frustration. You feel like everything that she did was not worth it. Even when it comes to her trying to meet a good guy, and she didn't even know if that good guy was good enough because she met Justin. Don't want to spoil it, but goddamn, this was some stuff that made me got into the on the edge of my seat of just, what are they doing? What are these young kids doing? And at the same time, do these parents know well enough to know what these kids are going through? I thought the acting of both families was perfect. It showed you the aspects of a family that is struggling to keep their financial business up, not business, but just their financial standards afloat and just to keep their legacy alive. And then you got the other side of the family that is struggling just so they can live, just so things can be obtained. So 2 different struggles, 2 different balances, 2 different experiences, but they all are in the relatable aspect of just understanding and relating to these characters. This is why Keisha and Justin's bond is strong, because no matter what they do and what their fate is going to lie to, it always lies into the fate of their family. And that's why they sometimes break up, they sometimes make up, they sometimes get jealous, and they sometimes ghost each other because they are lacking the understanding of their personal lives. And then when they try to express it and explain it, this is when we get hit with so much emotion, so much drama, so much chemistry, and above all, so much emotional payoff, to the point where I didn't feel as if this was an unnecessary closure towards them, even though it didn't close at all. It felt as if this would really happen. But some people would say it was unrealistic because if it was me, because I've heard some people say this, like, if it was me, I don't think I would have been in a relationship. I don't think I would have dated. It's really, so zodiac signs and online dating is your main step, huh? They had that here. They had that here, and this is what I liked about this show too. They didn't focus on zodiac signs, because that's just, I'm being honest. Zodiac signs is so stupid. Zodiac signs don't work. Okay, if you can name me one person that has dated somebody, got a family, happy relationship, live happy ever after, because of a zodiac sign. Put it in the put it in the comment box. But we all know it's not about the zodiac signs. It's all about how people are in their mind, how people are treated. And that was the main power of this project. And that's what I think that was very well executed in a perfect manner of us understanding how this world should be, not how it is. Wrapping this project up, I was like watching a couple of last of the episodes, and I was shocked of how was it going to end. And then I'm not saying that it gave me so much, and then all of a sudden the last episode they just threw like a whole 180, and then all of a sudden it was over. No, like I was surprised of just how it ended and the closure to it as well. And I liked it. I wasn't mad about it at all because it gave me more relation of the characters as well. Like one would move on and one would date another character while another one would still like try to persuade, try to have closure to their feelings. And what I like about this project too is the fact that they will show like just because they love someone, that doesn't mean that things will always be better. When you put someone in your life, you're adding not just more comfort and more company and above all more relation, but you're going to add more problems, you're going to add more drama, you're going to add more debates, and above all you may even add more of an experience that you may not forget in a bad way. And they had that well here with Forever, and the way how they executed it was great. You are going to like these two characters, Keisha and Justin. You are not even going to like them when it comes to some of the decisions that they make. And there are going to be some times where you may even hate them. There were some times I hated Keisha. There were some times I hated Justin. But it's because of how realistic these characters are when it comes to them being too comfortable or when they keep avoiding the main problem that keeps growing. And the way how the ending ended was beautiful. That's why I can't wait for the second season. This show will have you laughing. This show will have you on the edge of your seat. This show will have you relate to the characters, and above all, this show will have you impact of just the relations of how people are when it comes to relationships and how it is when it comes to keeping the relationship stable. I'm gonna have to give Forever, the Netflix series, an A+. What time is it? Oh man, I gotta wrap this up anyway. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and I hope you all have a good day.